Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Tell 'em Sis podcast show. This is a place where I told y'all we're going to have real people with real conversations and sometimes raw truths. I am your host. I am that one, your midwife, your pusher, your mindset coach, whatever title you want to put on it. I'm just the one in the background saying, don't quit. There is victory at the end. And I'm just happy to have all of our listeners. And for our first time listeners, welcome to you to just be in this space. You all know how we do. We're not scripted or anything, but I cannot wait for you to meet my guest today. I want to tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Sharonda Grandberry, and I think she's absolutely amazing. We actually lived in the same area, but we weren't connected. I did not know her at all, but the Lord saw so fit for us to connect in virtual space, and we ended up meeting. And she's just a beautiful spirit. You all will know her, but let me just introduce a little bit what I know about her. She is the owner, the founder of Pink Thrones, and I'm excited to hear more about this because I know a little bit of the backstory about this, and I'm just like, yes, come on, Queen, do what you know how to do. And so it's Pink Throne Style. So I want to make sure I get that right. But not only that, she is a plus size fashion firebrand. Did you hear what I said? I said a firebrand. A firebrand, I'm thinking that means to me, she's a fire starter, she's a trailblazer. She is a brand that is just not about beauty, although beauty is there. This is just me putting my little my Kai spin on it. And I also like the fact that she includes that she moves in a paradigm shift. She has the I think she did a co-author of a book entitled Diary of a Ready Woman. Listen, of a ready woman, a woman that's not just surviving, but she's thriving, she's moving, she's doing different things. She is also a U.S. Army veteran. And so I just want to welcome her to our space. I want to welcome her to the table of the Tell 'em Sis podcast show. Hi, Queen. How are you?
Hi, Queen. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, listen, just tell the people a little bit. Did I introduce you okay? Did I do well? It's so much I could say about you. I could say that you've been featured with Cynthia Bailey from the Real House Wives of Atlanta. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but I just want to get into this conversation and then also at the end give people a way to connect with you.
You did fine. It is always an honor. I'm not big on the introductions. It's just, it is. I'm real simple, honestly.
Yes.
So I am the owner of Pink Throne Styles, and Pink Throne Styles is a styling agency where we style you as grand as you like or as minimalistic as you like. And we work with evening wear, work, closet audits, you name it, we do it. And the goal is to not only style you, but to work with you inwardly, outwardly. And so I have a project coming up with Pink Throne Styles, fashion heels, and heels is a play on words. Instead of spelling it Heels, it's Heals, and is helping everyone acknowledge love selflessly. And what I'm doing is taking the internal trauma that you've experienced and giving you an external makeover, but we have to do the work first. And no more masking, no more putting layers over things.
Mm,
We're
I
going to
love
do the
that.
work, and we're going
Yeah.
to get to the bottom of things. And so Pink Throne Styles is my business. I love fashion. I've always loved fashion. And when you said the Cynthia Bailey feature, that was one of her things she had in 2016. And I won the Curvy Model of the Month. And so I've done a lot. And I'm grateful that God saw fit to show me favor in these different spaces and to be around different people and just do the things that I've done.
Yes, I want to dive there just for a second. You said something very powerful. You said um Pink Thrones is not just about the fashion of the styling, but making sure that we don't just mask, right? Mask the hurt, mask the pain. And I want to say thank you for saying that and congratulations on your work. Congratulations on your business. I am big on entrepreneurship, small business, and us supporting one another. My brain is already buzzing about all kind of stuff. So that's how I think I have to go bring it back in, my guy, bring it back in. But what does that look like? I just take me through just a little bit, because I think people need to hear that, because they want to dress themselves up, and that's great. We want you to look good and we want you to look beautiful. And I know for me, fashion is an expression. That's why various styles are great. But so many times, like you said, we're putting on the makeup, we're putting on the clothes, and we're styling the outward man, but our inward man is like that hidden closet that we don't want anybody to see. We're stuffing all the junk in there and doesn't we don't want. So, is that what you experience a lot? Like, people want to be styled on the outside, but then as you're talking to them, we find out inside's a mess.
Yes. And so what I do is I pray about the people that I work with, and I created a spreadsheet because I want them to feel confident about the looks that I put them in. And so if they're having self-confident issues, let's get to the bottom of it. Why don't
Mm,
you think you're beautiful? Why don't you think your arms are made for something? Why don't you think your legs are not beautiful? God made you in his image. You are the apple of his eye. So why are you downing and looking at yourself in such manner? Let's get to
mm,
the root of it. Maybe
yeah.
someone in your childhood told you were not pretty enough. Maybe someone in your, in an adult overlooked you. There is a root there that took place, and we need to dig it up. And so that's what it is that I desire to do. I don't want to wear any more masks. I had to do the work myself, and this is why I'm offering it to those that I work with and externally to those that I come in contact with, because eventually Fashion Heals will be a tour. And so that's what I do. And that's what I want to do. I started with myself. I put sticky notes forever, for ages, on my mirror saying that you
Mm,
are you are a queen. And this was back in 2013. Before I started the modeling and the styling, I would put sticky notes. Nobody guided me through this. Only God within showed me what to do. And I just did the work. And it was hard. And it's still a process.
yeah,
Put the sticky
yeah.
notes on my mirror, and I said everything that I was not. You are beautiful. Your
Ah,
skin,
come
your
on.
skin is your skin is beautiful. Your dark skin is, you love yourself. You're not ugly. You're not fat. I would say these things. Everything that I felt. And see, that's what people think. Oh, you're beautiful. You don't have to worry about. No, I did not see myself as I see myself now. So I had to
Yeah.
remove the mask of the things that were covering me. And I had to do the work, and I had to climb out of the dark pit of all of the things that were on top of me, and people placed the labels on me and said that I was this, and I had to dig all of that up. And when
That right there, people placed on me. I'm sorry, but I had to grab that, because you said you put sticky notes up everywhere, speaking and saying who you know you were. And I was gonna say that because when you said the who told you about your arms, I thought about me. Don't wear your arms out. Don't wear your arms out. Don't wear your arms out. And so many times, Sharonda, the things that we've lived with, they didn't even come from us. They came from everything around us. They came from our cultural conditioning. They came from hurt people saying stuff to us that had nothing to do with us. Stuff
yes,
like, your thighs is too fat to be in some shorts. Or I told somebody for a long time, I didn't even realize I wouldn't wear jeans. I just wore a lot of dresses because I knew if I wore dresses, you couldn't see my thighs. Or you would hear stuff, your little fast tail with them jeans on, or this, like people say stuff to us and we don't even realize. Because I tell people all the time, I grew up the chunky one of all of my aunts and different stuff like that. And I just tell people, you don't know how it feels or what it's like to grow up. And I remember one of my spiritual daughters said, she heard this. She heard, "You sure pretty for a dark skinned girl." Like, they thought that was a compliment.
that is a backhanded compliment.
Yes. And those are the things. So I just say thank you for what you are doing to take those layers off. And even for
Mhm.
those that are listening now, they're probably going, I lived with that. I talked about Sharonda one day that, and now this is in the faith world. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you wore too much makeup or this or that, you was a Jezebel, you was a this. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually like red lipstick, but I haven't figured out how to wear it. But I've yet to preach in it to this day because, oh, you can wear it outside, but girl, you better not preach in that red lipstick. They gonna put you off that pulpit. I looked in my makeup, Sharonda. I got six red lipsticks, and I said, Lord, why do I have these six red lipsticks? He said, because you like every brand with different ones. He said, but you've yet to master wearing them. Ah,
Wear it. Wear it. Wear the red lipstick.
mm,
Who are they to put any judgment on you? That root that's there has to be dug up. Wear it.
yeah, yeah,
Wear it.
yeah.
You do the opposite until you feel comfortable in that red lipstick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wear it. That's
Yes.
and I think that's why God placed this um in me. And we didn't interact much in Missouri, but I was ordained in, under the church in Missouri. And a lot
Uh-huh.
of people may or may not know that. But what what I just didn't feel like that is where I was supposed to be, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. No,
And
yeah.
and so now I finally get it. And now the purpose is being born. And
Mm,
now I'm going to do the work outside where we're going to be healed, whole, and mentally stable under the God, what he desires and how we can walk in love, truthfully and free
listen.
and
Listen.
free of bondage. Completely free of bondage.
Completely free of bondage. And now let me just say this for those that are listening, because this is what I heard in my spirit, man, just as you was talking. A lot of times we think, Sharonda, that ordination is for inside the building. Ordination is for the kingdom work. Ordination is not for your manipulation. Your ordination is not for you to have a hand or control on me and tell me what. Ordination is saying that you come into agreement with the call that's on my life that came from God. It didn't come from you. And so what I hear is, yes, I was ordained, but I wasn't ordained to stay in the four walls. I was ordained to do exactly what I was doing, but I had to tear my layers off so that I could be whole, healed, and free so I can help free other people who I know are culturally bound and held back with words from other people. And it's so good because those words, what happens is we start owning them. Like they may have said Jezebel and stuff like that. I didn't even grow. Here's what's crazy, Sharon. I didn't grow up in church. So what I heard was that was starting to come around me. And I'm like,
Mm.
what I seen.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? And so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this is Lord, thank you for Pink Thrones. Well, listen, we on here, but I have the queendomship every year, and I'm already telling you, I'm going to bring you in for something. I already seen it. So all y'all that's listening in Missouri, get your hands back in your different stuff. Don't try to do what I'm doing. I'm telling you right now, God's about to do something really amazing.
It
Really
has
amazing.
it has been a process, but I had to go through the process first in
Yeah.
order to bring the love that God has inside me to other people so that real, true freedom can happen in their lives. And let's deal with the mask. Let's take them off. Let's throw them in the trash and let's become whole and free for real and be workers and doers of what is right. And then it'll just continue to flow and continue to grow. And not only will we be doing the work ourselves, but we'll be changing generations behind us.
Yeah. So it's safe to say that makeup is not a mask. Makeup is not a mask. Makeup is our enjoyment. Makeup
Mhm,
is our enhancement. Makeup is our
mhm,
expression. And
mhm,
so are our clothes. So
mhm,
I know this is mental health month also. And so the things that you and I are talking about is really the paradigm shift that you've made through your faith, through your life, through your circumstances, through your situation. I wanted to just ask you. I know even in this space, because I was talking to my daughter and questions and different things, even in this space, I know that there's the word, what we say now, body shaming. There's still
mhm,
negative negativity and all of the
Mhm.
different things. Being a full-figured firebrand, how do you personally um deal with or condition your own mindset with maybe some of the negativities that still come out because you're full figured or dark skinned or whatever the different things that people say? How do you deal with that in how it can maybe help others?
So first, you have to know yourself internally and know the beauty and the worth of yourself first. So I early on in my career, when I used to see the negative comments or when I used to see the body shaming, and I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Okay, I am dark skinned and I was much heavier when I first started, and so what I did was a mental process of I know my worth. I know who I am. Your words cannot penetrate the call on my life. You may say those
Mm.
words, but those are words reflecting the insecurity and the misery that you sit in. And so that's how I process it. The words that you say towards me are the only things that you have, and you have a lack within yourself. So when I see the ugliness or when I see the negativity, I identify that as that person is missing something. That
Yes.
person is needing something. That is not a direct reflection on me. It is a reflection on that individual, and they need to do some more work on themselves. So that's how I maintain a level head with that.
Oh my goodness, you just said a mouthful. This is what I heard because I always listen to the voice behind the voice and then pull it out. You said, I allow their negative words to be a reflection of them and not a penetration to me. I hope somebody's listening and picking that up because the world is mean. It says mean stuff. Everybody in it is not. Please don't take that because I know some amazing people. But when you do the work and understand who you are on the inside, you stop allowing what other people say to penetrate in
Mhm.
here, right? Because as a
Yeah.
man thinks in his heart, so is he. And so, because it doesn't penetrate, it's a reflection, not a reflection of us, but a reflection of themselves. Ooh, that
Mhm.
is so good. Don't let it penetrate.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
let
it.
it. Yeah, and you know what? I was thinking about intercourse. As long as there is no penetration, right? There's no conception.
That's it.
Y'all better come on up in here now. That is
There's
so good. That
there's
is,
no exchange. There's no exchange. Hmm. That's
there
it.
is
That is it.
there is
That's it.
no exchange. There's no exchange. So this has been I don't know about you, but since 2020, it's been a year. It's it's
Hmm.
it's been a year. It's been a year.
Hmm.
Um COVID was a big shift, whether people want to say it was or not. I know I tell people all the time, tell them sis podcast show is it was the eulogy that I speak at my brother's homegoing. And I never thought, Sharonda, it would be a hashtag, it would be a show, but I kept hearing tell them sis. And that's really what was said in my spirit. My brother says, I am counting on you to tell the raw truth. He said, people lie out here, they do, but I'm counting on you to tell them. So that's what this is. And so I was just thinking about even this being mental health month. And I know, and I tell people one thing about us, we'll go all the way left, we'll go all the way right. We will,
Hmm.
we'll blame everything on mental health and not even really do the work too. You know what I'm saying? But I know when you think about mental health, my people don't like to talk about that my brother was committed suicide, and it's still for hard for me to say that because my mom doesn't like for she doesn't say it, but she doesn't like for me to say that, you know. And I know that she's still doing some work within herself, and it's very challenging too. But I also know that I have an assignment from him, and that is to tell him. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if I don't
Yes.
speak truth, if I don't say what's real, if I don't deal with raw, I understand that I become a hindrance and don't help for other things. And I found out even dealing with mental health, I hadn't really processed a lot myself because I spent all my time making sure that my mama didn't die.
Mm-hmm.
making sure that she didn't die, that my family didn't die. But I had to release them and then make sure that I, like you said, did the work and worked on me and realized that I have an assignment, and that is to tell them. I
Mm-hmm.
have an assignment to help other people to know that there's greatness in you, and that you may be going through a rough time, a hard time. Nobody talks about substance abuse or dealing with any of those things, but until we
Mm-hmm.
deal with the real, we're
Yeah,
not gonna we're not gonna be real help.
exactly, exactly. So in that, my father committed suicide when I was 5 years old.
Oh,
And
mm,
I grew up without a father, and then my mother was emotionally uh, damaged, and she was physically had issues from things happened in their marriage, and it was a lot. So I could say that I physically had a mother in the home, but emotionally I did not, and so that was very challenging. And I really am grateful that you're providing this platform so that people can hear this, and you tell them the truth, because the only way we're going to grow, the only way we're going to um, be truly who God called us to be on this planet, and to love and to heal, we have to deal with the mental issues and the mental traumas that have nearly taken our entire, and I can only speak, in the Black community,
hmm
taken
hmm
our culture out
yeah, yeah,
almost. Like
yeah, yeah.
we identify in the same tragedy per se, and this, because if we would, have the sessions and we would tell the truth and we wouldn't cover up things and we wouldn't keep the secrets in the family, and we would talk about the substance abuse, and we would just deal with people in its truest, gentlest form, and just love them as God loves us, then I think we will be a better place, a better people, this world will be a better place.
Yes, we would be a better people, and being better people makes the world a better place. Yeah. I love my mom. She's absolutely amazing. She's getting ready to turn 75 this year. She is one of the most strongest women that I have
Mhm.
ever met, but I also know that strong people get weak.
Yes.
Me and her used to always talk about the strong person syndrome, and that's always really hard too. And maybe I'll have a whole show about that. That when you're really strong, people think that you never get weak, and
Yes.
so you don't get the allowance that other people get because they're so used to you being strong, and they'll just look
Mhm.
at you like, girl, you'll be all right. I know you'll bounce back because you so strong, you so strong, you so strong. And sometimes you just crying and going, I'm strong because I have to be, but there is a strength within me that also gets very, very weak. And so
Yes.
I'm just so glad to have you here. And thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to have my mama on the talk show. I told her that. I said, Mom, I told her she's going to be on here this month. And so I know when we both do it, it's going to be a bunch of tears, a bunch of crying, but it's going to be a great conversation because it's mommy month too. So just speaking of that, and I was saying so much stuff has happened. What has What's Sharonda? I know Sharonda, you said you had to do the inner work. And with that inner work, you're a mom. You are
Yes.
now, are you called Grandma, Gigi, G Nana? What are you?
Now, I told my daughter when she had my grandson, I said, listen, the Apple emoji has this little old lady with gray hair, and I'm far from that. So, honey, call me Gigi. I'm
Okay,
Gigi.
I'm all right. I'm Gigi too. I love being Gigi. I'm Gigi, and one set of grandkids call my husband Papa. The other set calls him G Daddy. So we Gigi, G Daddy slash Papa. So that's who we that's who we are. Well, I know when we do the inner work, it doesn't come without trials. It doesn't come without um some tragedies, but the inner work means we also get to walk in triumphantness. We get to
Mhm.
be triumphant. We get to be victorious. And so with that, I know that comes, you don't get to be victory without having a test, without having a battle. Like victors are are created through the battle, through the war. That's how you have the victory.
Mhm.
And so with that, because when I look at you, I see victorious, I see triumph, I see overcomer, I see that firebrand that you talk about. I see beyond just a model. That's a piece of who you are. But what's one of the biggest challenges that you've had to just overcome or get through in these past few years?
So, publicly, I've been saying this for a little while, and I guess people are catching on. I was married for 23 years, and I had to have a divorce. I am a divorcee. And so,
Mm,
coming from a broken childhood and then traumatic things happening in the marriage that I covered up with the mask, that
yeah.
I covered up with religion. And in order for me to elevate, there was a separation that had to happen. And in that
Mm,
separation, I got quiet with God and I got still and I saw everything for what it was. It was not easy. I asked for the divorce of my husband. There was not at that time no infidelity because there has been infidelity on his part, and I just it's a lot that transpired. It was a lot. It was a lot that
yeah.
transpired. Emotional, physical. It was a lot of things, and so I had to walk in truth. So I couldn't lie anymore. I couldn't put on the
Mm,
mask anymore. And as a woman, when you do that and you walk away, in a counseling session recently, I learned how my son felt towards that. And so hearing him and his concerns and his voicing him, it hurt me. It did. Because I never want my children, I've always given them everything, but I never want them to say, oh, mom, you left us, or oh, mom, in that capacity. So it's been a challenge as a divorcee, but our relationship is beautiful. As he mentioned in our session, it's beautiful, my children and I, but navigating in a space after all those years and giving your heart to someone after all those years, and now um, being in the cesspool, I call it the cesspool of life, because I don't want to be here. I
right.
don't want to be here, but I did the separation. And then when I did the separation and during the separation, I began to do the healing. I mean, the
Uh,
real healing. And with God dealing with me and hearing completely when it's you one on one with God,
mm,
that right there is something. And I call that the shadow work, the deep within stuff and the things you need to deal out and you deal with, and you need to see yourself. So I took a
yeah.
lot of accountability and had a lot of self-awareness within myself and say, no, Sharonda, take accountability. You allowed some of this. Take
Yeah.
accountability. Take accountability. You covered up some of this. Take accountability. You were not always right. And I had to, and I even called him and I apologized to him. And this is what I said. I apologize for every moment that I made you feel emasculated because I was in a hurtful state. I apologize for not being in certain positions when I needed to be because I was in a hurtful state. And I just, gave him a couple of things. And I don't ever talk bad about him to my
Hmm.
children.
Right.
My in the session, my son wanted to know, well, mom, why? And so I've shielded them from a lot of things. And so now we're digging those things up and I'm slowly revealing some things to them. And so I said all that to say these last 4 years have been a years of healing, of wholeness, of truth, of accountability within self. And it's not easy,
Yeah.
especially in this cesspool of life and being connected with God as a woman of God,
Mm.
and dating. Oh my gosh, no. So I'm in a waiting period now, and it's whatever happens, happens. And I just want to have purpose. And I just want to share myself and my purpose that God gave me with those that need it. And that's where I'm at. But it has been a challenge. And in the last 4 years, I divorced, and here I am.
Wow. Wow. First of all, thank you for sharing that. Just for I keep hearing this word truth. And that's the subtitle of the Tell 'em Sis podcast show. Real people, real conversations, and raw truths, raw, right? It's not seasoned up, it's not cooked, it's not flavored to make it digestible for you. It's
Mhm.
not something added to appease your taste bud. It's just raw. And when you said, I had been masking for so long, and I was thinking about, and man, we are excellent of doing this in the faith world. And I don't and my husband and I, we've had to go back and say that we used to tell people fake it until you make it. We thought we were saying that right. And that's so wrong. You you keep faithing it, but you can't fake it, because faking it really causes you to wake up one day and say,
Mhm.
and be mad at yourself and the
Mhm.
person that you've been faking it to, whether it's your kids, whether you was single and you was faking it to yourself, or whether you was married and faking it to somebody else. Like we have said that to because it sounded good, and we thought we were doing a justice to something, but really what we were doing were creating more layers on top of layers. And again, the faith world is great for that. And I asked why, and for some reason we don't want to deal with truth because everybody's afraid of being embarrassed, afraid of being known about around. And I used to always say, we don't want the people that we don't want to be known for truth around people that really don't even really care. We think they do, but we want to be accepted. My last podcast, I was talking to Whitney, and we were saying that she was saying it's a double whammy being a woman. We were talking about business and stuff, because you're deemed as holy and great if you stay at home and take care of the kids, and then you deemed as this gold digger if you want to go out and do business and be an entrepreneur. You dealing with like it's all these double standards that really have
Mhm.
nothing to do with the kingdom of God. And
Correct.
so, I love these conversations because my husband and I do premarital counseling, and
Mhm.
we are consciously making sure we're not trying to set people up to create a false narrative to have to fake for 23 years,
Mhm.
or to not deal with the hurt or different things. I remember when my oldest son was getting married, him and his wife, they said, they came to me and my husband and they said, Mom, if you could give us advice before we get married, what would you give us? And I looked at my son and I said, if you got any mommy issues with me, I said, you need to deal with it, because she's not your mama. I was like,
Correct.
she will operate in nurturing roles that feel like a mama. Don't get me wrong. And I said,
Correct.
if you have any issues with your daddy, I said, from him deploying or this, are you mad? I said, deal with that. I said, because
Yes.
if not, once you become one with somebody, I said, those layers of what you didn't deal with are going to surface up. And then I looked at her and I said, if you got daddy issues, I said, you got to deal with that, because she had lost her father. If you've got mommy issues, and that's the stuff, nobody's saying that. We want to say, well, the scripture says, you should leave your mother and father, cleave to become one. Okay, that's fine. And
Mhm.
that's scripture.
Mhm.
But the one you're coming with, if they come with 5 demons, we ain't talking about that. Like, you becoming one, but one with what? Right?
Exactly.
One, like we like I mean, I'm telling you, the great thing for me, I don't know the great thing about also pastoring is when I don't just move on. I have to make sure I'm dealing with me so I don't put any of my contradictions off on other people, or that I'm preaching something that I'm not practicing,
Mhm.
because then that's hypocritical. So I think, like you said, you're always doing the work.
Yeah, you never, the work never stops. And so, but for the record, he would say we were only married 21 years because I left at year 21, and then we were on paper for the rest
Right.
of them. But I had to say that for the record because that's something he says, and I'm like, okay, however you say it. But we never, both him and I, dealt with our mother wounds, our
Mhm.
parental wounds. After everything came out, and I had counseling over the years because I had some deep childhood stuff. but he never partook in like real counseling. And it came on out, mother wounds, childhood wounds, a whole lot of stuff, like repetitive things happening. And I'm like, why? And these are some of the things. You have to deal with those mother wounds, those parental wounds, everything before you get into a relationship. You have to make sure you, even if you open the door when you were younger to pornography, you need to deal with that. I think
Yeah.
Kirk Franklin said something to that effect one time. You need to deal with all of those demons, like you said, deal with them, detach from them before you try to come into anyone's space and with chaos or trauma or anything. And what happened in my healing process when I started to heal back in 2020, COVID and all that, because after COVID was a blessing. A lot of people think
Mm-hmm.
COVID was this negative thing. COVID was a blessing because COVID made you look yourself in the mirror or made you look at your
Yes.
spouse. It made you look at your
Yes.
spouse as well and see really, and you had to sit in it. And so that's when my journey had to start. That's when my journey started because we could no longer be outside and be busy. We had to be inside and sit with ourselves. And that's when and so my ex-husband and I had a trauma, what they call a trauma bond. And so we meshed in traumas and identified in traumas. And so as I began to heal and become set free, that cord began to break. And so that cord began to break. And so as I began to do the work, the cord began to loosen and loosen and loosen and loosen. And his codependency had to subside. It had to go away. It had to go, and now he's getting to work. He's doing the thing, but the codependency is gone. It is no
Yes.
longer, it's no longer there. And so COVID was a blessing, and here we are. And we have to be transparent, and we have to be like, you know what? I don't care if you know my business. I'm gonna give you my business because my business is killing me. And I
Yeah.
want to be set free. I want to be set free. I want to be whole.
Yes.
I want to live in my true, authentic self to the world so that they and myself included can be what God has designed and destined us to all be, and that is to walk in freedom, healing, and love.
You know, that is that's so good. I'll never forget, and I won't go into details, but I had an incident in my ministry and I openly announced it, and everybody was trying to just be mad at me. Well,
Mm,
what'd you say that for? What you this and
mm,
that? And I said, public presentation will leave no room for private interpretation. I said, because if you just say it and put the crap or the mess out there, you got to deal with it.
yes.
I was like, and the problem is, y'all don't want to deal with nothing.
Yes.
Y'all want to spend a whole year. Well, let me figure it out. Let me do this. But you never get to the figure out. It just
Mm-hmm.
festers. It just is, like you said, layers of stuff that goes on. And I mean, and I stay on that. I was like, I'd rather do public presentation. I said, because private interpretation means that anybody can interpret it any way that they want to, and it may
Mm-hmm.
not be really right. And so, no, I'm like you. You know, I've always been an open book. My mom has been like that, you know, and I know people, even as a pastor, tell me, like, you do this and you do that and you do this. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, y'all got 50 million rules about stuff. I was like, but y'all never just give me the rule to fast, to pray, to stay with God and just speak the gospel or the truth. But you want to tell me about everything else. So I throw all of that out, Sharonda, and I do what God said. I'm like you, like what you said in the beginning. I'm not called for everybody, and I'm good with that. But I know I'm called for some people,
Mm-hmm.
and I tell people all the time, if I can't help you, I'm sure not gonna hurt you. That's just
Correct.
me.
Correct.
That's just who it is. So let me just say this: congratulations on you doing the work. I seen a little it was a quote, and it said, and you said trauma bondage. It said, be careful who you fall in love with in your hurt place, because when you get healed and wake up, that's not you got attached. You allowed your hurt to attach to hurt because there was a commonality.
Yeah.
But your healing is something different now, you know?
Yes.
I was
Yes.
like, man, that's so good. That's so good.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
so good. And the only way that a man, listen to me, because y'all saying, oh, I woke up, but it can't, your marriage can't work if both of you are if you wake up and do something. Like my husband and I, we've been married 35 years. And I tell people all
Congratulations.
the time, thank you. Yes. And I said it was times though that I felt like I wasn't appreciated. I wasn't this. I thought I was just the milk lady and I wanted to just get in the car. And it was times I said, if I just get in this car and just drive away and never come back, just never come back, maybe they'll be okay or that, you know, my daughter say something like, Mama, we don't want to hear that. And I was like, you may not want to hear it, but I'm just gonna give you truth. I said, because it was such a weight of everything. I said, but
Mm-hmm.
we decided, we gotta work on us. Let's
Mm-hmm.
you work on you, I'm gonna work on me. And that's one of
Mm-hmm.
the things we even tell people with marriage now, Sharonda, like everybody wants to work on the marriage. And I say, work on you.
Yes.
You the marriage.
Yes.
You so busy working on the marriage, but you ain't worked on yourself.
Yes.
So you have no victory in anything. So, Queen, I just love you. I'm so glad we are here. I am so glad we are here. This is I'm in my Oprah setting asking out my questions. I do want to ask you something because
Okay.
I have, I have a lot of young queens. I thank God that young queens are attracted and they hang around. I love helping them. But if you could tell your 20-something-year-old self from what you know today, if you could tell her something, what would you tell her?
Love you. It is not selfish to love you. It is not something that's, foreign. You don't have to pour all of you, especially if you're empty. You don't have to pour all of you into someone else. Ask God to fill you completely up so that you are able to pour when it's necessary and to whom it's necessary. Everything that was said to you is not you. Everything that happened to you did not happen to you just because then it's not your fault. It happened for you. And be okay with loving every ounce of who you are.
Mm.
And be in your authentic self and don't apologize 1 ounce for it at all.
Live unapologetically. Love all of you just as you are. It is not a selfish act. It is actually selfless. Because if you don't love you, oh, some 20-year-old is hearing that and they're saying, thank you, Sharonda, because I thought I was wrong for loving me. I thought I was wrong for going to sit in Starbucks by myself, read my little Kindle, and just indulge myself. I thought it was wrong for me to take the vacay
Mm-mm,
because I needed it. I thought it was wrong for me to do
mm-mm.
that because they told me, oh, wait, oh, that's going to come. So thank you from your fierce self, from
You're welcome.
your overcomer, from the one who has done the work, who's walking in her whole healing, loving all of her, even the stuff she's went through, to
Mhm.
give that conversation to the 20-something-year-old. But I got something for you 50-something-year-olds, 40, 30, 70, whatever age you are. Even if you didn't do it in your 20s, baby, it's not too late. You
No.
can do it today.
Yes. I'm 45 in July, and honey, I get fully dressed up as if I'm going on a date, and I sit in the restaurant, a nice one, just to taste the food all alone by myself. So listen,
Yes.
it is
Aren't our
okay.
birthdays close? When's your birthday?
Uh,
July?
27th.
Okay, you 27. I knew you was in July though. I'm the ninth. I'm the ninth.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I love
mm-hmm.
listen, I just told my daughter-in-law because my she's with herself, and I said, and that's what I told her. I said, baby, I know you used to your husband being around, but he's military. I said, but this is when you know you really love yourself, when you can celebrate you and
Mm-hmm.
not wait for anybody else to do it. And she
Mm-mm.
called me. She was like, Ma, you are so right. She said, I ordered my balloons, I ordered my cake. And I said, hey, I said that right there. I said, I love my son. I was like, but when you learn how to celebrate you, I said, I will never be one of those moms. Wait for him. Celebrate you. Because there's going to be
Yes.
times. I said, when you
Yes.
know how to celebrate you, when you can buy, listen, when you can buy, we don't mind celebrating with other people. We love it. But when
Yes.
you learn to celebrate you, yeah, that's a whole nother level of maturity. That's a
Mm-hmm.
whole other level of maturity. Well, Queen, I know we only have a little bit of time. I could talk with you all day. Before we get ready to close out, tell the people how they can get in contact with you, reach you, find out a little more about Pink Throne Style.
Mm-hmm. So on all major platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I am Pink Throne. Throne is for we are daughters and sons of a king. Styles, and pink is my favorite color. And then also Instagram, Forever Fashion 24_8 is my main account. And now Fashion Heals. So Fashion Heals is also out there. And you could also, and I don't like saying this, but Sharonda Grandberry is my name, and you can just pop me up anywhere on the social on the internet.
You can pop her up. You will find her name. Nikita B say she Googleable, baby. Nikita B says she's Googleable. Well, listen, to my Tell 'em Sis tribe, to all of those that's been rocking with us, please make sure that you subscribe, make sure you like, share this podcast out with someone. And thank you so much. Please continue to connect with us, also on social media. We're currently in the Spotify arena, but we are getting ready to be moving into Apple, into all platforms. And so I'm super excited. Thank you,
Congratulations.
Sharonda, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and have raw conversations and
Thank
just real truths with us. We appreciate you so, so much. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.